Hey guys, Czar here. Just checking back in with you again. A little bit earlier we had one trade, or I've had one trade today only in the London session. It's 5:36 a.m. The market's been open for 2 hours and 36 minutes. That gold trade was an 8 pip move just to fill this wick. We got the trade and one and done. But now I'm going to clear this now, and I'm going to show you that I might be looking for another entry here as prices drive down. What I love about this, what I like about this on the 30-minute chart, is we got this convincing break and close into this open lake, as I was calling it, this fresh zone here. Call it a plunge zone if you like. And then a pullback and a rejection wick, which we've now had two of right here, right? Topping tail. And then pushing down, a failure to get below, and now another draw, a pullback. And then looking like it wants to make another attempt. Now, I'm only interested in this if it can, in fact, break below. Ideally, a break and close below, but I sometimes will enter without the close if I see some other things happening on the lower time frame. The lower time frame for me would be the 1-minute chart. It looks like this. This is the 1-minute chart. Now, the problem with gold futures at this time of the day is that they're quite illiquid and fragmented, as you can see here on the 1-minute chart. So what I'll do to smooth that out is move to the 2-minute chart and take a look. Is that better? Yes, it is, right? It's cleaner, but I may even go up to the 3-minute chart. That's a little nicer. I kind of like the way that's looking. Instead, I'm going to pull you back now to the 30-minute chart only. We'll focus on that as we're now breaking down below. See that there? Now, let's go over to the 10-minute chart, because now we're going to get a 1 minute and 21 second closing of this particular candle. I'm dropping the zone down to here on the 10-minute chart. We're going to wait for 1 minute and 10 seconds and have a potential and see if we have a potential entry here. Let's take a look. I'm going to go over to my own platform now. Bearing with me. Looking to set up a sell stop order below the current extreme, below the current wick that you see there. Not actually entering anything yet. I mean, I'm placing the order, but it's not live. I haven't transmitted it yet to the market, if that makes sense. We're looking for about 15 pips on this one, so $1.50 in terms of gold price. I would size this for a 1-to-1 just to be safe. But it may end up being a 2-to-1 in terms of functionality. Alright, new candle forming now. I would need to see a top wick before taking this particular one. I need this to rise up first and then push back down. Without the top wick, I'm not interested. Okay, so a small wick is already forming now as we speak. You see that there? The mere fact that the body turned white from the open means that if it drives back down, there will be a top wick. You see it there forming? I'm explaining this in very simplistic terms because I do get quite a few questions on this from newer traders who don't quite yet understand the anatomy of a candle and how these upper wicks form. A top wick is simply a pullback on a lower time frame. Let me show it to you. Move over to the 1-minute chart. See that pullback? As a pullback on a 1-minute chart, which looks like a top wick. When it drives back, if it drives back down again, you'll see that it will be a top wick. And if it flips itself, the wick will be from here to there. It can't actually get any longer than that unless prices drive up even higher. Hope that makes sense. It will as you keep thinking about these things in those terms. Why is that important? I'll tell you why. When this candle drives down, if it closed right at the bottom and there wasn't a bottom wick, it means that there hasn't been any resourceful pullback in prices. The mere fact that we have a bottom wick here means that prices went to an extreme down here and then pulled back, started a new candle, and now we want it to pull back even more. So this pullback from here is actually continuing up into here as far as this will go, right? It went a little bit higher now. It says pullback, and now it's pulled back even more. So on a lower time frame, here's the 1 minute. You'll see there it is, right? From there, pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. Now we're looking for this to find a resistance of some sort here in the micro frame and then drive down. If we can get that drive down, the proof of driving down will be the break of this bottom wick. And that's what we're interested in here for a momentum style play, right? That's really all we're doing when we're scalping, right? We're looking for momentum to continue in a given direction. How do we know that it's going to? Well, we can never know. That's what makes trading so very challenging and very difficult. But we can flip coins and call heads based on a preponderance of the evidence. And that's what we're doing here in this game. That is the nature of trading. Just going over to my platform. 1820, 1820 target. 1820 and 30 cents, yeah. 1820 and 30 cents, see there. Now we'll wait together. I'm going to put you on pause so you don't have to sit through the sideways grind. We'll come back if anything happens here. Pause now. Okay guys, we're back, and you'll see quite a few minutes have passed here. As a matter of fact, that candle that we were on, that white one, moved up quite high. As a matter of fact, the drawdown, or the draw up, the upper wick became quite large, and it turned out to be an inside candle. What does that mean? It means that the candle is contained entirely inside of the one that came before. In other words, the high is lower than the prior high, and the low is higher than the prior low. So it's an inside candle, kind of an indecision style candle. Not technically indecision like a doji candle, but you get the idea. It's neither here nor there. It's not saying much after this one had said its piece, if that makes sense. And so now what we're looking for, still, the idea is still very much intact. This is not where I would have my my stop. I just remembered now that we were actually on the 10-minute chart, right? So I'm going to come back to that. And the same thing that I just talked about applies. It's the inside bar, inside candle, prior in relation to the prior candle. Struggling a little bit with English this morning, guys, which I sometimes do in these early hours. But here we go. So driving down now. I'm going to make this order live in a bit here. Give me 1 second. All right, getting ready now. Actually going to drop my stop for sizing down just a tad to there. Oops. Undo. TradingView seems to have a little bit of a glitch lately in terms of the magnet, you know, snapping it to grid, if you will. There's a magnet function over here on the far side, but it's actually off, so it's been happening a little bit lately. I might flip a note out to them. There's a couple of other things that are happening on TradingView too. They've been really good service-wise, and so I like dealing with them. I've had a long relationship with them too, almost from day one, which certainly helps. I'm going to put you on pause, guys, and I'll bring you back if anything interesting happens here, okay? Here we go. Pause. Just bringing you back here for a moment as we see prices trying to move down a little bit here at 6 a.m. We've just struck 6 a.m. 40 seconds ago. Sometimes you get a move on the start of a new hour. I'm going to shift my zone down here just a little bit on this 10-minute because we had zoned for the 30 minutes. So when I come back, it was up here. And now I'm going to move it down. Here we go. All right, guys, watching closely now. My order is live. I've just made this order live right down here. 22, 21.8. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And we'll be targeting 15 pips or $1.50 in gold price. If we can get a drive down here in this new 1 hour candle. We're looking at the 10-minute chart, right? But it is the new 1 hour. In other words, 6 a.m., 6:01 now. Very sluggish. I will put you on pause, guys. Okay, guys, we're back. Here we go. Price is driving down now a little bit. We're seeing the beginnings. Here we go. Watching closely. I'm just going over to my own platform. My order is live and ready to hit this one hard. It's a time of day when we often see movement in gold, and I think I'll show that to you if we get a moment here, depending on how this pans out. If we have time, I don't want to make this thing too long. We're only, well, I don't know, what, 14, 15 minutes into this thing. We'll see. I shouldn't say only. That's a good stretch of your time. But I want to capitalize on it. And watch this now for a moment. Then I'm going to show you something. Time of day matters. Let me leave it at that for now. This is around the time of day, 6:15 a.m., between 6, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning New York time, when gold tends to make a move. It tends to lay down an impulse wave of some kind. It's not always dynamic, it's not always a huge radical move, but it's something. And I can show that to you happening day in and day out. If we look back on these charts, you can do it for yourself, of course, too. One of the reasons why I like to have these session colors, like you see here. I can see Asia. I can see what happened to gold in Asia yesterday. I can see what happened to gold in London. I can see what happened to gold in New York yesterday. I can go back and see the same thing happen yesterday, right? But where do we see these moves? I'm going to ignore Asia because I don't trade Asia, and I never will, unless I move to Asia. Because that's when I'm sleeping. I should be sleeping through London too, but I don't. But we often see a move. Guess where? Around 6:30. See this move here? That's not a great example, but it's reasonable. What about here? 5:40. This 5:50. Here's 6 a.m. 6:30, right? What do we see here? 6 o'clock? 6:30, 6:50, right there. Boom, boom, right? The day before? This was a sluggish kind of a day, but there's 6 a.m. kind of in here, and then we saw this drive down. Yeah, 6 a.m. right there. There's that nice big move down. That's pretty sizable, actually. Yeah, I mean, that's a good 30 pips right there, right? The day before. Now, on big news days, all bets are off because the markets wait for news. But even on this day, you'll see that around 6 o'clock. It was a little bit of a move, but not much. It was waiting for this. Obviously, the big news at 8:30. What do we see here? 5:30 and then into 6:30, right? Right there. Big move. And we see this day in and day out right here. 5:40, 6 a.m. All this move we see here, that was before news too, but it did drive up. All right, take it back to the present moment now. We'll watch this thing drive down. Ready? Begin. About to get tapped in. I'll let you know when I'm in. Not yet. I have very tight spreads on interactive brokers, and so I basically have to cross that line to get taken in, which I actually like. Still not in this trade. 45 seconds left. Now this is an interesting dilemma, because the next candle, which starts in 35 seconds, 30 seconds now, will typically make an upper wick. I don't want to get tapped in right now on the open. Just thinking this out loud with you guys. I don't want to get tapped in right now and then have a drawdown as we go into a upper wick. I'm actually going to cancel this order right now. Canceling this order. So this is not live anymore. We're going to watch this play out. We're going to talk about this and see if we made the right move or not. So we got 5 seconds left, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Oh, I would have been taken in right there, and I would have been a little bit of slippage. But now watch what happens. Most candles have an upper wick. You see what happened there? 620 candle immediately. So there were orders down here that got filled. Other traders were thinking just like I was, right? And that's common. Why not? It made perfect sense. But I actually canceled it. When you've been doing this for 34, 35 years, you begin to second guess yourself on certain things because you've seen it so many times before. The timing of the candle opening and closing makes a difference. And now I want to see an upper wick. If we flip, I'd be interested in taking this down, but not yet. That has to close. I'm going to watch this. And you can see that I probably would have had some slippage there now. Interactive Brokers is very good, but there was a spread there for sure. You saw the gap move down, right? It's like bam. You can replay the video and you'll see it again. I'll flip you up here to VWAP, and it happened just in here. I want to see an upper wick first, which we do have in place now, by the way. If this candle flips back down, that will be an upper wick. You can see it there forming. I'm going to remove this marker now because we actually were not in this trade. Let's take it out of the way so I don't confuse you. I'll put you on pause now. I'll bring you back if anything happens here. Okay, we're back, guys, watching now. It just felt like it was going to drive down there a little bit, but it's still sitting. It's a very sluggish morning, as I mentioned. It's been a sluggish few days. A couple of weeks, actually. We've had big moves in the stock market, but they've been pretty orderly or gentlemanly, as I mentioned to one of our team members, our group members. And that's why VIX has been relatively muted as well. It's not a live order, by the way. I'm just kind of placing the marker here because I'm thinking out loud. Watching. 6:23 now. There's that upper wick that we're looking for. All right, getting ready to go live here, guys. It'll be very quick if I do. This is not a live stream, so I don't feel like I'm as pressured to tell you immediately, but here we go. Ready to go? Just over on my platform. Okay, I'm live now. In other words, I'm not in this trade, but the order is live. If we drive down, I'll be brought into this for a quick move. And the reality is I'm going to go for a one-to-one on this because it's so sloppy and sluggish. Live order now. Take a look at the bigger picture. Here we go. I'm in this trade now. Just been triggered in. Stop above the current candle. I'm actually going to go for 8 pips, just based on what I'm seeing and feeling. Manage this dynamically. watching. Looking for a 1.3R payoff. $18.20.70, $18.20. Four minutes left in this candle. In a perfect world, this would drive now before that candle is up. Otherwise, we're going to have a little pullback here and possibly get stopped out. It might even happen right now. This is very, very sloppy. Or sleepy, I should say. Which can feel like sloppy when you're in the trade, right? And now it's the waiting game. Super close stop, so high chance of being stopped out. That's okay. I don't mind taking calculated losses. I don't mind taking routine expenses in my business, and I don't mind taking break-evens all day long. I don't mind taking wins either. I'll take those all day long too. Here we go. Watching. We're going to hit the 630 candle in 47 seconds. This one will either stop us out or take us down to our take profit. Coins in the air. It's about to land. The next 30 seconds. We could get stopped out right before the candle closes, like right now, for instance. Very, very easily as it prepares for the next candle. Something we see quite often. Especially given that it's so high right now. The next pullback, there's about a 90% chance we're going to get stopped out here. Because of how high this candle is before the new one starts. If we were down here, I'd be more optimistic, but we'll see. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1, watch. Now it'll create a top wick. Unless that's a shallow top wick, we will be stopped out. We being me. This is the start of the 630 candle. And everybody just left their trading desks. Deadsville. Trying to make that top wick. Just tried there, you see that? There's some force pushing this down. Let's see if we can get all the way to our target without making a top wick, which is not very common. It doesn't want to go any further until it's made a top wick here. And I'm beating a dead horse here. I'm doing it on purpose because these are the expectations you need to have in your trade management. Notice how it was rejected right at that wick. Here it comes now to make that top wick. So rejected at the prior bottom wick to drive back up to make a top wick. The only saving grace would be if the top wick matches this prior top wick without stopping me out here. Otherwise this trade is over. Ready? Here it is. And so now it's matched that other top wick. It's gathering some juice to make another attempt potentially to drive right through and take out everybody else who's thinking just like I am with a stop order right there. Ready? For your sake, guys, I'm going to put you on pause and I'll bring you back. See how this thing finishes. Here we go. We're back. Nervous trader might take profits now because they can't stand how long this thing is taking. A little bit of profit in there right now, waiting to be taken. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay with this trade. The trade idea is still intact. It's not feeling overly optimistic, but we do have this big lake here. Remember the lake from the last trade? The video right beside this one on YouTube, most likely, was from up here. That lake is still there. And what we're trying to do is to flip the coin. What we are doing is flipping the coin with an expectation that there's a reasonable chance that the participants here are still casting their line, their fishing line, out into this lake to test the waters. And we're just trying to extract some profits from the testing of those waters. It's not looking great right now. But the trade idea is sound. It has a sound intellectual framework. It makes sense based on structure. It's a fair and reasonable opportunity. And I believe I'm being objective when I say that. Getting stopped out doesn't change that at all. It was still a reasonable coin flip. And that's the essence of trading. Put you back on pause for now, guys. Here we go. Okay, guys, we're about to get stopped out here. It'll be a 1 hour loss. You see the fresh buying came in there. Just desperately wants to break above this prior resistance as well. It's not really resistance, but it's a wick. He's coming back for another attempt, and boom, we're out. Let me just check my orders. Yep, 1 hour loss. Okay. There's a 1 hour loss. It's a routine expense in your business practice. The idea was sound. The idea was solid, as I mentioned. It's just that issued an expense. I think this is probably going to drive down later. Don't know that for sure. We'll let the market tell us. There may be another opportunity. So I'm still green for the day. I've had 2 trades, both of them in gold. The first one was 1.3R, I believe. Let me just double check that. That's how good my memory is. Sarcasm. Bear with me. Yes, 1.3R. So still a 0.3R for the day. And we'll look for another opportunity. Thanks for joining me, guys. We will talk soon. Take care.